Friends is one of the most popular comedy sitcoms on television. With a runtime of 10 seasons, Friends dominated in regard to ratings and achieved massive success, so much that when it came to renewing their contracts, the actors decided to negotiate for higher compensation. This negotiation consisted of two parties that had to come to an agreement when renewing six of their actors' contracts. Each actor stated their terms at $1 million per episode. They all wanted to be paid equally and made it a requirement to only discuss salaries with executives and only as a group. According to Smallwood, in addition to these terms, quote, to ensure that no single friend would ever appear more prominently in the media, all interviews and publicity photos linked to the show had to feature all six cast members, end quote. When it comes to the terms of the networks involved, I could not find much information as this negotiation has been very guarded as it resulted in paying each actor $1 million. According to Carter, the parties involved were the network NBC, Warner Brothers, and the show's production company Bright Kaufman Crane Productions. The underlying desires of the castmates were to maintain their actual relationship as friends by obtaining equal pay. They were very determined and worried about preserving their actual friendship. I believe they focused on this aspect so wholeheartedly because it was one of the key elements to the success of the show. I think the underlying desires of the other parties involved were to appease to the actors because they ultimately knew the actors were ready to leave the show and they needed to keep them for another season, or possibly two. The most prominent negotiation technique that was utilized was positional bargaining. The actors definitely used their status to obtain leverage over their terms. Knowing that fans of the show fell in love with their characters, the actors had the perfect opportunity to ask for the improbable. Another technique used was using dirty tricks. For instance, during the negotiation, the actors decided a couple of times to walk out. According to Keck, quote, there was one day during the negotiations when they all decided they had to walk off. That was the tactic, end quote. This was a scare tactic used to obtain a desired outcome. The last tactic used was affiliation. The actors banded together and formed a group and fought for each other and fought for each actor to be equally valued. This was the main element that helped the actors to achieve their result. Instead, according to HollywoodReporter.com, quote, the six friends actors banded together, end quote. The thing that went well in this negotiation is that both parties were respectful of each other and understood the value each side offered. The actors understood the hard work and dedication the creators of the show, as well as the network and production company, put into making this show successful. The opposing party understood the value of the actors and respected each one equally enough to agree to these terms. I think the main thing that went well was that each actor was for one another, receiving equal pay, and banded together as a team instead of individually. Teamwork makes the dream work. The thing that went wrong in this negotiation, in my opinion, would be the fact that the network did not have a BATNA or best alternative to fall back on when negotiating the actors' compensation. The actors were already previously making $750,000 an episode, which was already a hefty amount. I think instead of caving to the dirty trick tactics of the actors, they should have explored other options to try and negotiate a more reasonable salary. Prior to the success of this negotiation, $1 million per episode was unheard of. I think had the network utilized alternative options, they could have avoided paying such a grand sum. There was definitely an agreement reached. This agreement led to the actors receiving $1 million per episode, as well as residual royalties on past episodes and those going forward. The actors in return signed for 2 additional seasons, which pleased the network creators and producers. I think this agreement definitely fostered a long-term relationship amongst the cast of Friends. Being on a show for 10 seasons will typically lead to either friendships or enemies. In this case, each actor went to bat for one another and ultimately made each other successful. This is what I believe is the true reason that this show was as successful as it was. Yes, it was great writing, but we, the fans of the show, actually got to experience true friendships develop on television. In conclusion, for anyone that is going into a negotiation, always think of the mutual benefit of the team, as this often leads to a successful outcome. Thank you.